you, mabital, why say, I'm a song. I got the bomb, I got the bomb, the bomb, the bomb, bomb. I put the ear, put the hour, mora baba, for you, mabital, why say, so say, so say, mang ear, mang hour, goldi, golda, so, so,
just wanna lay
cloud shines. Imagine all those memories in your mind.
Good morning, Marianas. It's raining. We needed a little bit of that. And you're looking out at traffic right now on Beach Road in Olei. It is slow. We even got it on the little screen there. Let you see exactly what that looks like. Dark red, yellow, red, you name it. It is just slow all the way down from the old AK intersection all the way south. How far south? Oh my God. We're talking like the Civic Center. That's right, all the way down to the multi-purpose building. The traffic is slow on Beach Road. So be safe out there, be slow, take your time, don't try to pass anybody. Don't need a modern day Mario Andretti gumming up the works out there. But hey, it is Thursday morning, it's Thirsty Thursday as we look around at traffic all over the island. That's just what it looks like just outside to us right now. And yeah, it's not beauty. It's not the best that we've ever had. Hey, but we will let you know how it looks everywhere else here. So 1 second, let me get you the other side. Kapow. So you can see what traffic looks like everywhere else. This right now that you got on the screen is over there in Chalampia, right over in the middle of the screen is that intersection by the mobile station. So you can see it's just a little bit slow in there, which is a pleasant relief, by the way. Everything going north of there, though, is all gummed up. That's right, by CK Beach Hotel, Dial Rent to Own, all that stuff. Slow, and what else? Yeah, more slow. All right, so it's a little bit slow all the way through Kobler as people make their way through the school bus zones. It's a little bit slow over there by Knapp as well, but you figure that's going to let up here in the coming week. A little people waiting over there. Not little people waiting, but there's a little bit of people waiting over there by Tune Joaquin Doi. Hey, who knows? They might be little people. We can't tell from here. When you get over there by Shell Dandan, though, things are looking nice and clear. It's a little bit slow, though, over by the Construction Zone Central by NMC, where the Student Center is going up on time, on schedule. Oh, man, all you got to do is get on their list of students, and you'll have everything going. Things looking good at the intersection that matters, where connections matter by IT&E. Everything's moving nicely. When you get closer to Beach Road, though, that's where you're going to start to see it get a little bit less than happy for you. Let's close this one out and hit this one up. How about heading up north on Middle Road? It's a little bit slow when you get by Transamerica, Pacific Star Wholesale, New XO Market, all the shopping areas over there. It is slow for show. How about when we get over there by the museum? Well, let's take a look. We are flying northwards, and it's not that bad. And when you get all the way over there by JG Sablon Ice and Water, it's a little bit slow for folks who are trying to come the other way, like if they're taking the back way by the gym. Gotta be a little slow for you. How about over there by Garapan Elementary? Looking pretty good. Good job, Garapan Elementary. You got your kids in and out really quick. Middle Road. We're taking Middle Road all the way down. And Middle Road looking good today, too. This is a great day for us. While it is slow and rainy, it is definitely not too bad. Now, the shopping area on Capitol Hill, like our Rodeo Drive is the shopping district on Capitol Hill, where you've got Capitol Market, New Sarah Market, and Zinju Store. That's Rodeo Drive on Capitol Hill. That's it. It is definitely slow going through there. Guaranteed, there's a bus going on through there that's slowing down traffic, and that's got to be what's coming up to works. Over there in Cagman, looking pretty good. Over there by the intersection at Mobile. Over there in San Vicente, definitely slow as you're trying to either get yourself out of Dandan or you're trying to get anywhere near San Vicente Elementary School. It is definitely congested through there today. Don't be in a hurry. People are dropping their kids off to school, and, you know, that's more important than anything else. So be safe out there, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your first look at traffic here in Saipan. Good morning, Marianas. What a day we had yesterday. Totally full, totally jam-packed with things. Getting lambasted with all kinds of different comments and information coming from you guys. You guys are a never-ending source of info when it comes to any of the stories that were covered. that we covered in the past or that we're still covering. Holy cow. And a lot of people reaching out to us. Really excited. We're going to see if we can't reach out to Palau on the show today. What? Again? I know. Island Times. She's interested in chatting us up. Leilani, we got some contact with her, so I'd love to have her on the show this morning. And we're going to see if we can't put that together. That's going to be a big win for us if we can't. What else is going on? Well, there was a big meeting yesterday for stakeholders with the Department of Defense. That was really good because we got to learn a lot about what's coming our way, focusing mainly on Tinian. We had folks from all the different government agencies. We had folks from Joint Task Force Micronesia, Joint Region Marianas, folks from Pacific Air Forces. There were all kinds of heavies, two-star admiral on down in the House yesterday, and a lot of accomplished civilians, a lot of folks who work with the federal government who have also gotten, they've retired in their military life, and they have gotten civilian jobs working at the same place. Isn't that wild? I know, but it's great for them because hey, they'll take it. That's not even double dipping. That's the way to go. Hold on, let me just share this real quick, guys. I've got these two. Goodbye. There we go. And last night we got to do something that was pretty fun too. Yesterday, and we could show you the announcement again, but yesterday we went to the Atta Gym so that we could cover the announcement from the CNMI baseball about who's going to be the, hold on one second. Oh no, I'm doing it the wrong way. Sorry guys. One second. We went to watch CNMI baseball, the CNMI baseball announcement for the, who their manager is. So Jay Kintle is the manager who's going to skipper the CNMI baseball team in the Pacific games, the Pacific mini games in Palau this year. So that's going to be really great. The team hasn't been picked yet, but he's going to assemble that in the next couple of weeks. He's going to have the team and all the managers all the coaches announced. So that's exciting for us too. But while we were there, we were waiting on those guys to get ready to go because, island time, that's just how things work. But we were able to go and catch some of the basketball. Sorry, guys. We were able to catch some of the basketball action from the high school leagues, the Interscholastic Basketball League. Wow, man, blown away. Great stuff out there. First of all, we saw GCA Eagles and SIS in a really good contest, and it looks like the Geckos won that game. But the following game between Marianas High School and Cagman High School, holy cow, what a game. That place was packed by a lot of fans. They were going nuts for it too. The action was nonstop. And that's not even the two top teams. Well, Marianas High School is. They're undefeated on the season so far, and they should get first place going into the playoff. But Cagman, I think they said they were in like sixth place or something. They were playing like they were on fire, just going back and forth and back and forth. Now, we did speak with the coach from Marianas High School, Dan Wallach, a little bit after the game, and he said that they didn't play their best game. But, man, I'll tell you, after watching that, they're going to have to play their best game to beat these guys. They escaped, really. They almost gave that game away. There was just, fractions of a second. The Cagman, if they would have made this layup at the end, they would have won. It was just wild stuff. So you're going to see us now start covering this stuff. I can't believe we haven't been doing it all this time. It's so exciting because it's back and forth. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you. It's not the same kind of coverage that we've got for baseball where we've got a whole production and a score box and all that stuff, at least not yet. But and I wasn't sure if it was even going to look good on video. And, it's still not perfect, because I got caught watching the game at least a couple of times, and I missed it. Also, I'm not sure exactly what angle and how much to zoom in and all that stuff just yet, and then doing some play-by-play for you too. But I think, we'll be able to improve on all that stuff as we do it more often. Again, this is our first time doing it yesterday, and it certainly was a blast. I know the kids liked it. And then we got to interview one of the kids too. I think it's something that's we're only gonna be able to grow, and I'm looking forward to the next bout of games, and definitely looking forward to covering the playoffs. My gosh, if it was anything like the games last night. And I'm telling you, if you're not watching interscholastic sports in the CNMI, oh, you're missing out. This was great. I mean, it's not like you want to be that creepy guy who just shows up to high school sports and be like, hey, let's go team. I know. But at least if you watch it on this, you can watch it in the comfort of your own home. You can go cheer for your alma mater if you go to the games. I've often thought about that when I go back to New York. To go, like, if I went to go watch my old hockey team or my old football team play. I didn't play football, but if I went to see the game and, you wear that high school jacket. And we used to make fun of those guys in the stands. Not like to their face because they're adults and they pound us, right? But, like, do you want to be the guy who goes back and wears your jacket? Now, not if you're trying to recapture old glory, right? But if you're going there just to say, yeah, this is where I went to school too, I mean, I think that's kind of cool. Maybe that's just the change of my perspective because I'm the old guy now. That probably factors heavily into that decision, or that perspective. But I would probably do it. So I would say watch your high school sports. It's so competitive. And I would imagine it's more competitive than like the men's sports too. Because when you're playing men's basketball here, unless you're playing on a national level, then, it's not the same. But like, because you got a job and all that other stuff. But for the high school sports, this is it. Like, this is the top level for you. Everything else after that is really just beer league stuff. Really, unless you're doing, again, national stuff. All right, anyway. A Giants fan, what do you, oh my God, Bruce, dude. That's it, we're not friends anymore. Bruce Camacho, we're not friends anymore. Just kidding. Luisa says, I would go support my high school if I had more time on my hands. I support from afar. Hey, that's great. So we're able to do it. I'm telling you, it was so exciting last night. I can't wait. I cannot wait to go and watch more of it. I just can't. Let me scroll through real quick and say hey to you guys. Luisa, man, I was calling you last night. I'll tell you what it's about later. Yes, that's right, John William. No question about it. Great to see you this morning. It is great to see you this morning, Bruce. You too, Sophia Beneventi. Good morning. Thanks for watching today. Carm Ogumoro. My gosh, I can't even talk this morning. Great to see you. And thanks for setting me up with the Commonwealth Women's Association. I'm really excited to be a part of the big summit coming up at the end of the month. Peeling Gizemo, my friend, great to see you. My brother, what a great day. I love your comment. It's great to see you guys today. Tobot Castro, great to see you, man, always. You know what? I haven't seen you in person for a while. That's a problem. Connie Park, Baza, great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. And great to see all you guys. All right. Well, like I said, we got a lot to cover. And man, I am wrestling with something that came in last night. But one of the things that we can get to first is, do I have this keyed up? I know I do. I just got to put it on the screen, right? Yep. There's a letter that came in last night. I just got to take those words off the screen there. Yeah, there's a letter that came in last night from our Congresswoman. All right, we got to change it. I don't know what music, but I got to get something different for this, I think. I don't know if this is the right one either. But here we go. This is a letter from our Congresswoman, Kimberly King Hines, to our Honorable Governor, Arnold Palacios. One of the reasons why we were a little bit late starting this morning was that we want to make sure we could get this all done up and like brand it, if you will, to get it for the post. But this is a letter that came out while we were sleeping. We received this, and then there was a second one that came out. So this is the second one. And if you were to sum it up, you would see that it's basically our Washington representative is saying, hey, we don't see things eye to eye. Personally, we're cool, but policy-wise, we don't agree. But we can agree that things are pretty messed up, and we got to work together, and it'll be best if we come about it at from the same place, right? If we come out with one unified voice. Yeah, I think that's what everyone's saying, because you guys look like a couple of folks who don't get along. I think it makes the CNMI look worse. Now, personally, you guys might get along, but two polar opposite points of view. One says, hey, China's cool. One says, we're on board with everybody else with the GOP that says we're not down with it. So we'll read it. We'll try to read it quickly. But this is from our Congresswoman, Kimberly King Hines. It says, across the U.S. territories, it's common for governors and delegates to Congress to hold differing views on policy and priorities. This is likely because the federal government plays such a significant role in the success or failure of its territories, and the physical and bureaucratic distance between Washington, D.C. and our islands often limits direct communication and collaboration. However, this divide does not have to persist. In our case, the primary point of contention appears to be how we should address the serious economic challenges facing the Commonwealth. What is undeniable, though, is the hardship our people and businesses are facing. Business closures, declining revenues, and most critically for you, decreasing tax payments. While our approaches may differ, I believe we can both agree that action is necessary. From my perspective, I see this challenge through the lens of economic activity, or more accurately, the lack of it. Businesses are struggling because there are fewer customers spending money, which means less revenue circulating in the private sector, fewer employment opportunities, and diminished economic stability for individuals and families. In speaking with business owners, they have consistently pointed to the lack of tourists as the primary factor threatening their ability to remain open, pay their utilities, retain employees, and in turn, contribute to the tax base that sustains public services. To address this, my focus has been on restoring and expanding tourism through a multi-pronged approach. We have pushed the Department of Transportation to reopen scheduled air services allowances from China, urged the Department of State to mobilize American embassies in South Korea, Japan, and Philippines and Australia to support increased air service, introduced legislation to remove restrictions on cabotage for key regional partners, expanded visitor processing through EVS TAP, and fought against efforts to impose new visa requirements on tourists. This is not just about China. This is about stabilizing the CNMI's economy by increasing arrivals from multiple markets and ensuring that businesses, large and small, have the customer base necessary to survive. This is the approach I ran on. This is the agenda I committed to when asked the people of the CNMI for their trust. And this is the work I will continue to pursue. There should be no surprise in this. Since taking office, the only request I have received from you regarding our economic condition has been the request for $412 million appropriation from the federal government to offset revenue losses caused by the collapse of tourism. I disagree with this approach. Asking the federal government for emergency relief may provide short-term relief, but it does nothing to fix the structural issues that put us in this position in the first place. More concerningly, it signals that when the economic downturns occur, we expect Washington to bail us out, rather than taking responsibility for charting our own path towards self-sufficiency. That said, I want to be clear. This is a policy disagreement, not a personal conflict. I will do my due diligence and explore what options exist for the CNMI to fulfill your request. However, I believe it's important that both you and the public understand the reality of the current federal fiscal climate. With Washington actively working to cut $2 trillion in spending across all programs and agencies, securing an appropriation of this magnitude is not only highly unlikely, but also risks making the CNMI appear unserious about our own economic responsibility. We must be transparent with the public about the slim prospects for this effort. Despite the differences in belief on this issue, we must not lose sight of the essential work we need to accomplish together. We need to recognize that we can disagree and still collaborate. Congress is currently working to pass a continuing resolution to fund the federal government operations through September of 25. This CR will give the executive branch discretion to adjust federal This continuing resolution will give the executive branch discretion to adjust funding levels across various programs, which could impact federal funding for services in the Marianas. It is our joint responsibility to advocate for continued funding for for critical federal programs that serve the people of the Commonwealth. Protecting these programs will require both of us to speak with one voice to justify their importance and ensure accountability for their use. I am committed to working to protect these programs and to make the case for continued federal funding of essential federal services, but I could use your support to do so more effectively. The reality is that our over-reliance on federally funded programs demand that we do more to grow our local economy. Toward that end, I welcome the opportunity to collaborate with you on expanding air service and engaging in serious discussions on cabotage restrictions that continue to limit our ability to attract more international flights. In my in follow-up to my ongoing request to Secretary of State Rubio and Secretary of Transportation Duffy regarding air service needs, I'm preparing a letter to the Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum, to request that the interagency group on insular affairs take the lead in coordinating efforts between the Department of State and Transportation to achieve real, measurable progress in expanding air service for the CNMI. For this request, I would like to collaborate with you and co-sign the letter, demonstrating a unified commitment to addressing this urgent need. Additionally, I welcome the opportunity to hear your plans and ideas for the direction of the CNMI economy, particularly how the CNMI can best support recovery and foster the development of a stronger, more resilient private sector. The work in the federal government is most effective when local and federal elected leaders engage in open and productive dialogue, and I'm eager to understand how we can align efforts to create sustainable economic growth for the people we represent. Our economy is at a breaking point, and the actions we take now will determine whether we move toward long-term stability and prosperity or continue a path of economic decline. The people of the CNMI deserve a government that, despite differences, can come together, produce solutions that are both realistic and sustainable. I look forward to your response, and more importantly, to identifying concrete ways we can work together for the good of the Commonwealth. Sincerely, Kimberly King Hines, member of Congress. Now, I've got some thoughts about this. Go figure. I do. I think a couple of them, just grandstanding stuff for you and I. When we read it, it has nothing to do with a letter of communication to the governor. It's really just a public, hey, look at me trying to be right and look at that guy trying to be wrong. I get that because that's politics. They do that crap. Nobody likes it, but it's so clear, right? That doesn't mean that she's the only one doing it. Clearly, that is not true. Let me be clear that this is just a tool that these guys use, all of them. But the question is, a couple of these things, where was it? I want to pick out the specifics on it. And a couple of things, I'm just little things I'm starting to key on, and some of the messages that are starting to become consistent that I'm not a big fan of. Like, here's the grandstanding thing, talk about when I ran for this, I did it, there should be no surprises. Okay, all that. This thing here, right? So there's it's like a hot button word. Whenever they use the terms of like a bailout, or they use the terms of emergency relief for this, and even they say appropriation, really, with regards to that $412 million that was from the pandemic unemployment assistance. Again, when you hear it from the governor's administration, they're talking about, hey, this is money that was already allocated to the CNMI. We're just asking to repurpose it. All right. So then when you hear it from Kim, you're hearing like, oh, it's a bailout. And they hate hearing it because, like she mentions in this letter, she says, hey, there's not a really big appetite in the federal government right now for giving bailout money to people who can't seem to handle their own finances. In fact, they're looking to work against it, right? True. But while she's keen on that, where she's not keen to is that there's not a big appetite for giving anything to China right now. That's the part that gets me. I see you, Connie. That's right. Is China the only country that can boost our CNMI? Well, you could see just the other day we got a letter from the Congresswoman as well, and she said the same stuff, right? That we're about to talk about here, because she did. She reached out and said, "Hey, we want to have, we need your help, Mark Rubio, Secretary of State, to get us some help with the Philippines, Japan, Korea, and Australia so that we could get more tourists. Use your offices to help us out. Help a brother out by hooking us up. And then she wants to get Secretary of Transportation in on that, and Secretary of Interior, way to go, Charles Barkley, Interior, to work together to address those issues. And that's it. I mean, like, so she's doing it. She literally just did it the other day, right? Where she put that stuff out. So it's not like I've been working on this it's a continuing thing for months or something. But just the other day, I mean, she did. And we posted those letters and all that, where she's reaching out to them. So that's great. But she's trying to say that the governor's not doing anything other than asking to repurpose these federal funds. I disagree with that. I definitely disagree with that because I think he's trying to get our house in order here. And that's something that she doesn't have to worry about, right? So they, in their own efforts, they're working hard on their own side. But I think that the task that our congresswoman has is not the same task that our governor has, but they should be on the same page. We've been thinking about this. I mean, this goes all the way back to Governor Fithiel times, where he never got along with Khalili, right? And it was just one of those things where the administration over and over and over, for continuing administrations, would badger and berate our congressman, right? The only thing is I don't see the governor doing that to our congresswoman who just got in. But she's working to try to do this stuff too. Yeah, she's not saying China's the only way forward, but in the letter, I think it's artfully crafted. Same with the last one, because I think that is the main thing. Like, I think she's going to lose street cred in D.C. the more she pushes for China, right? If all of a sudden we got like 40% more tourists and they all came from China, would the CNMI's economy look a lot better today? No crap, Sherlock. I mean, absolutely it would. Would that be what everybody wants? No. Some people would, some people wouldn't. But everybody would want a better economy. But it goes to that thing about the end justifying the means, right? So I don't know. I'm not sold on any of it. But what I can say is that I'm not a big fan of the posturing. And again, and this is not just for the Congresswoman. This goes for everybody, right? I don't love that posturing stuff. It's like a subtweet on Facebook or something like that. No, or a sub post or a subtweet on X. Like, look, you want to say, look, we don't see eye to eye. I think you're full of crap on some of these things, but we can admit that we're down for our people, right? So let's do this. And when you're putting it in a big letter like that, I know that formalizes it, but I think that's really just like passive aggressive post is what this is, right? If this was a real, just an email letter to the governor, then that would be it, right? But when you're sending it out to everybody, you're making a public pronouncement. You're saying, Gov, you've done nothing but ask for emergency stuff, and I'm doing all the heavy lifting over here. And so maybe she believes that. Maybe she does. I think that's not true. I think there's just way too much politics in here, right? I think that's it. I think there's too much politics infused in these kind of letters. Instead of writing about that we should talk together, why not just talk together? Why? What have you done? This, by the way, this is not just a bag on Kim Fest, because it's not. This goes to every elected leader that we have here. When they make statements like, my door's always open. Well, go knock on one of those doors and go visit one. I would rather read, on several occasions I've gone to your office and you've not been there. On several occasions I've gone there and asked you for a conversation and you've repeatedly told me no. Like, I would be cool with something like that. But no, you say my door's always open because your fat ass won't get out of your chair and go there, right? Like that, when I hear that from those and take it from a fat ass. Like, I'm telling you, when I hear that kind of stuff coming from the politicians, it's empty. My door's always open. It's empty. If you're not willing to get up and go to someone else's door too, it's empty, right? Don't say we need to work together. Go work together. It goes for both of you, you know? Find out, look at you guys need to sit at a table, have a couple of beers, and say, are we on the same team or what? You know? WTF. She's just being pragmatic with our proximity to Asia. Yeah, I get it. Hey, don't get me wrong. I get it. What I do see, though, like little shades of it about, like, so Kim, from my perspective, is that Kim is all about the CNMI, right? She's all about what's best for us, and she doesn't care if it's with the United States or anyone else, you know? That doesn't, I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, that's definitely the aftertaste of the drink that is Kim that I get. She doesn't care if it's with the United States or whatever. She's down with the people, and that's it, right? And I guess I could appreciate that. I don't share that approach. That doesn't mean I'm saying she's anti-U.S. No, I'm not saying that. But I am saying that it seems to me like she doesn't care about it. Like, she's about the CNMI, not about whatever. And I don't like that kind of conversation because I'm a U.S. guy. I don't want us to cozy up to anyone else. I don't want us to entertain meetings with folks from China about getting closer, like the Salmons or Kittibots or, even Chuk now, right? No. I got two words when I think about China, and the first one starts with an F, and it's not fire truck, right? So I appreciate them having tourists come here. I don't think I like the idea of tourists coming here. I do like the idea of having it throttled back greatly so they can't swing the economic fortunes of the CNMI, because while it seems to be like a political conversation right now, the facts are really clear. And it was clear years ago with regards to Palau and Chinese tourism, where China, turned off the valve on them and said, well, suffer, bitch, and that's it. And that happened, and that's not even debatable. That's exactly what happened. But, and that's not even, that's not new. Like, everybody saw that happen years ago. So I like the idea. I like the idea of throttling that tourism. And believe me, I have spirited conversations with people who are on both sides, people on both sides of this. Like, you guys, I'll mention names, but not about specific points, right? But if I mention this, you think about that as the scale, like the spectrum, from Glenn Hunter to Alex Sablon, right? That's the spectrum, right? I've spoken with people all the way through that spectrum and had spirited conversations with people on both ends of that spectrum who think I'm just beating them up or I'm fighting them on every single word of everything they're saying. That's really it. It says, once we fix our non-China incoming tourism, we can stop talking about China. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing, right? I mean, with all the chaos that's going on back in the mainland, and I say chaos, maybe it's controlled chaos, orchestrated chaos, I don't know. Chaos, I love it. It's easy to get worked up about stuff and take those big leaps all over the place. But this one has a real good conversation. But I definitely, I'm okay. Well, I would love for our economy to definitely turn around. That'd be great. And I would love for us to be real about getting the other tourism, right? From everywhere, from all over. If we actually make a real concerted effort to go all over, writing a letter to the Department of State asking for help with that. Okay, that's a good step. But what else? the same people who are all this China, China, China now, I think they know economically the windfall that they can get if all of a sudden we get a bonus 40% of tourists, right? And you notice I'm like clearing my throat and everything, so I'm like choking down the vitamin C. So they know that economically, if we all of a sudden got a bump of an additional 40% of our current tourism market, it would help. And they know that the easiest way to do that is to go to the biggest market that's chomping at the bit, so they say. At least one that's, I mean, they got 1.6 billion people. They got a lot of them. And they're going places. And they want them to come here. Got it. And if they were coming from other places and they were willing to spend the money and put in the work, that would be great. But they're trying to make, of course, because they're business people, make business decisions. Excuse me, guys. Couldn't get rid of that. So they're business people making the business decisions. It's the easiest way for them economically to do it. It would cost us a lot of money to develop an Australia market. It would cost us a lot of money to develop a real Philippines market. It would take a lot of work. They don't want that. They want what's easy. They want the easy path. And these are the same people who are the easy path people, right? They don't like this, but that's it. I mean, they're the path of least resistance to make some money. Oh, you know, it took a lot of work. Okay, I give you that. I get it. But sometimes, you know, you got to change the flow of that river because that river may have cut a deep path, but now that path is the Grand Canyon and there's not as much water running through it as there used to be. The thing is, with regards to all the tourism, there's a way for it. Now, why are these guys who want the easy path, they want the one shot, gonna fix everything? That's why I look at this thing that's going through the Senate right now as like, this is like the latest garment factory, casino, peanut factory, whatever, like idea. The one thing that's gonna fix everything. We gotta stop looking for the one thing that's gonna fix everything and work together on the other stuff. The people who are looking to get the China stuff are the people who are against, or think that it's not relevant to have a passenger ferry go between, a roll-on, roll-off vehicle passenger ferry go between Guam and Rota. They don't want it. They don't think it's needed. We didn't say, yeah, you did. You can frame it however you want. I mean, you don't want it. I mean, you can even look at this letter here. It doesn't say anything about it. It just talks about the flights. She doesn't even reference the work being done on the ground about the travel option, the study that's going on right now with the ferry service between Guam and Rota. Boy, that's going to be magic. That is going to be freaking magic for the CNMI. Because everything in Rota is going to be less expensive. Everything's going to be less expensive. To travel to Guam, people are going to be able to go there. Economic investment right away. You want tourists? They're American tourists. Oh, there he is. He's doing it because they're Chinese. This is racist, xenophobic. No, I'm just telling you. You've got people 40 miles away who would be coming to Rota and treating Rota like a weekend paradise destination. Packing up the pickup, rolling over to Rota, and filling hotel rooms. That'll be reasonably priced. And they'll bring stuff. And the people from Rota are going to get jobs in Guam and back and forth. Reliable, sustainable, dependable, economic impact right there. Low-hanging fruit. That's what you need to do. Focus on that. That's not the only thing. But right there, Yeah, Rhoda people will probably jump on an opportunity to get jobs on Guam. Yeah, and they should. But you know what? That money's going to go. It's going to come back to Saipan, because if you have the option of actually living and raising a family in Guam versus living and raising a family in Rhoda, where would you really want to be if the economies were the same? Rhoda. I wouldn't want to live in Guam. I don't hate Guam, but like as opposed to the CNMI, I love the CNMI. I would rather live in the CNMI than live in Guam. And I'd rather live in Guam than live in Hawaii, like just because it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? No, that's not a big knock on anybody. I mean, it's not a knock on them. I had the opportunity to move, and I didn't move for just that same kind of thing, because I would rather live here. Like, this is the right fit for me. James says, a complete militarization of the island is the way forward. We don't need tourists. We need federal funding. That's the reality of governor's policy. I don't think so. I don't think the governor is at all looking for the complete militarization of the CNMI. Not at all. And, you know, that's the thing. The governor's policy is not that the military is going to be the savior of our economy. Not at all. The governor has never said that. And not only that, because I'm not speaking for the governor, because I don't. That's not my job. But the governor's policy and all the things that he's setting out has never said that the military is going to be the economic stabilizer that fills the gap by his or by the loss of the Chinese tourism market, which we haven't lost the Chinese tourism market. We have more Chinese here. In the press conference last week with the governor's office, he told us that there's more Chinese tourists than Japanese tourists right now. So something's going on, right? Something else is going on. It's not just that. We got to work on our market, period. If we've got more folks from China coming here than Japan, that's why you see all the bright convertibles out again. But again, he's never said, and he never intended the military to be to fill in the gap left by the Chinese. No, it's not. And I speak with the folks from the military daily. Okay, it's not every single day, but it's often. Multiple times a week, is that fair? And they say the same thing. We will never fill that gap. But that's the thing. So that's one of my battles, I guess, my continuing conversation. Battle's probably a little bit too much. But the continuing conversation I have with folks who keep saying, yeah, the military is not going to be there for us and all this other stuff. I'm like, hey, the military is going to be there, but it's not going to be there in those China numbers. You know, even if you see these things, oh, we're going to invest $1 billion. Okay, great. But that's you buying stuff and putting it in there. That's not you giving it to the economy or something. So the way to think about the military in Tinian right now is that there's a really big investment happening, and local businesses are capitalizing now on all the construction that's being done for the Divert project and the revitalization of the Northfield complex. And holy cow, that is pretty impressive. So there's a lot of people there. Those people got to eat. They got to get gas. They've got to entertain themselves, and they got to work, right? They got to pay for utilities. They got to do everything. They're paying for hotel rooms. They're paying for everything, like, right? There's a lot of economic impact from the folks who are on the ground doing the work there, and not just the military folks, all those contractors. So there's a lot going in there. The big question is, from some of the prominent businessmen, is, yeah, and then what? Huh? Then what? Then that's it. So you chase all the tourists away? Well, first of all, no. You're not chasing all the tourists away. They're just finally coming through and actually doing stuff. It only took them 80 years. Okay, 50. But then they're going to do the exercises and make use of that area that they haven't been making use out of it, or hardly making use out of it. So some of it is that they are, the big request is, what's going to be there for our businesses to capitalize on once all the construction's done? Great question. So when we met yesterday, it's not like it was just me or something. It was a big room at Taga Hall at World Resort. They were talking about an upcoming industry day, like we had at the end of last year. And that's where all these folks come in and talk about what's happening and how you can get plugged in to the military's contracting and everything like that. It's really good stuff. But again, the big question is, what happens when all that stuff is done? So the ask that we made during that is start factoring in a new segment of your industry day to talk about what the businesses locally can expect after the construction's done. How can we get plugged in there? Sure, it's not the multi-million-dollar construction project support stuff, but what's going to be there? What are the crumbs, if you will? What's left over? In between the exercises, right? Because there's going to be an ongoing annual expense for all kinds of stuff for all those places. And then when the exercises happen, there's going to be a massive swell of people who come in. And then all that economic impact. Then the exercise is done, they go off, and then it's the regular ongoing thing again, right? It's almost like a hotel during like a golden week or something, right? So so could you start working on that? They're like, well, yeah, we'll start doing that. I'm like, well, hey, this is what the community's asking for. It's the evolving appetite for information from your business community to find out what's going to be there for us to take advantage of and engage the military with. So they're going to do that, which is nice, right? Another interesting development that they're working on right now. So check this out. The Tinian looks like they're going to get a real landfill, not the dump where they go over there and they rake it up and bulldoze it and burn it. Yeah, if you haven't been to Tinian to where they deal with their trash, that's where they do it. I'm not talking about at people's houses where they burn. I'm talking about where they run down to the dump, throw it there, it gets bulldozed. I know there's a recycling aspect to it too. I don't know how they do it, but I know that they do that and they burn it up and then that's it. Well, they're going to get a real landfill. That's number one. Number two, the roads. Now, while the military does have possession of the northern 2/3 of Tinian, the roads technically belong to Tinian as far as like maintenance and all that stuff. So while the military is going to cede the land for the landfill back to Tinian, they're going to take the land for the roads back, which means, like, how could they do that? No, they controlled access anyway. That doesn't mean that you lose access. But it means that maintaining those roads is no longer going to be the expense of Tinian. So those roads are going to be maintained on they call the MLA, the military lease area. The MLA roads are going to be maintained by the military at the cost of the military. So that's pretty good. It says, oh, these are some, I missed some of these comments where folks are talking about the different things. The locals in Guam and Hawaii would disagree, plus the military has bigger fish to fry than our economy. I'm tired of driving close to an hour everywhere just to get to work. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about Saipan. Oh, no, hold on, sorry. By the way, it's harder for me to scroll through the comments than you guys. It says the locals in Guam and Hawaii would disagree, plus the military has a bigger fish to fry than our economy. Yeah, I'm not sure. That was probably while I was going. So I don't have I'm not exactly sure of the context of that one. But that's the thing is that the military is not going to be big enough to fill that void. It's just never going to happen. Could the military? U.S. is good for infrastructure, like after World War II helped us build our infrastructure. Yeah. And can you believe those roads are still there from the Seabees in Tinian? It's wild. All right. I want to get back to this, and I want to continue with this, man, but I've got to, I got to run some commercials and tell you about sponsors And man, I just got to blow my nose and cough a couple times to get through this. I don't know where all of a sudden this stuff came from, but it came from somewhere, and it's there. Maybe it's from getting up early and going to bed late. All right. Anyway, I want to get back to talk about all this stuff, so just give us a couple moments. I want to remind you that we've got so much stuff going on here, and we don't do this without you, and that we're loving everything that you do, and that you guys are paying attention to us and following us and giving us these comments, because this is a platform for us to have a conversation, and that's the best part about it, an exchange of ideas. Anyway, thank you guys. We'll be back after this.
Hey, I'm Coach Derek Cutting, the owner and founder of Laddie Built Fitness. So no matter who you talk to here at Laddie Built, everyone feels that they are part of a family, part of a group of like-minded people. No one feels judged. No one feels like they're being teased or picked on or looked down upon because maybe they don't know what they're doing. They could be brand new and have no idea what they're doing. They might be overweight or really skinny and feel very self-conscious about themselves. But at Laddie Built, nobody judges here. And if you ask anybody here that might be in better shape than you, or even not, but has experience in the gym, they will gladly help you through a workout and teach you a few techniques that can help you. So Laddie Built organically from day one, since the boot camp era, has organically grown this fostered environment of community and being a safe place, but a strong work ethic community of people that want to get work done. All I can say is that I put my heart and soul into it from day one. I treated everyone like that at the boot camp from the very, very beginnings, and everyone at the same time would treat each other like that from the boot camp era as well. And as we grew, as we got into a brick and mortar facility, we got bigger and bigger, I feel like people definitely just take this place as a home, as like their brother and sisters are working out next to them, not their enemy or not their competitor, So organically, it's just the vibe here is different. Everyone feels very, very comfortable, and I love the fact that it happened like that.
Paradise Dental's giving you the gas. Well, not that kind of gas. You already know that Paradise Dental has the most affordable coverage in the entire Marianas, and now we've got something special just for new customers. And now for a limited time, Paradise Dental is offering free gas vouchers for new signups for their coverage plan. If you sign up for a singles plan, you'll get a $10 gas voucher. If you sign up for a couples plan, that's a $15 gas voucher. And if you sign up for the whole family plan, that's a $20 gas voucher right after your first visit. So hurry down to Paradise Dental and sign up for the CNMI's most affordable dental coverage today. These gas vouchers are limited, and with smiles like these, you know they're gonna go fast.
March 13th, 1852. Uncle Sam, that iconic symbol of the United States, debuts as a cartoon character in a New York newspaper. 1925. In Tennessee, a law that prohibits the teaching of the theory of evolution takes effect. Months later, the law is challenged in court in what becomes known as the Scopes Monkey Trial. 1996.
First everything was normal, and then there was 8 gunshots, and then the police came and everything got so noisy, and I got scared.
In Dunblane, Scotland, a gunman opens fire on a class of kindergartners at an elementary school. The gunman kills 16 children and a teacher before killing himself. And 1947.
Why, it's almost like being in love.
In New York, the musical Brigadoon by Alan J. Lerner and Frederick Lowe opens on Broadway. Today in history, March 13th, Mike Gracia, The Associated Press.
AP
News, I'm Ben Thomas. U.S. arms deliveries to Ukraine have resumed. That word from Ukrainian and Polish officials. Sagar Magani reports it comes as the Trump administration waits for Russia's response to a ceasefire deal Kyiv endorses.
It's up to Russia now.
President Trump says he hopes Moscow signs off on a proposal that could lead to the war ending. Secretary of State Marco Rubio would like to see Russia stop its attacks on Ukraine in coming days.
The fighting stops and the talking starts.
Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov says it's important not to get ahead of things, and Russia needs more detailed information from the U.S. before making any decision. Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky is also waiting for Moscow's answer, saying a 30-day ceasefire would allow both sides to work out a step-by-step plan for ending the war. A Trump envoy is expected to travel this week to Moscow, where he could meet with Putin. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
Meanwhile, President Trump openly challenging U.S. allies, imposing 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports.
The United States of America is going to take back a lot of what was stolen from it by other countries and by, frankly, incompetent U.S. leadership.
Canadian Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc.
We will use every tool at our disposal to defend Canadian jobs and Canadian businesses and support workers through these challenging times.
Sound courtesy CTV. Europe also retaliating.
We deeply regret this measure.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen.
Tariffs are taxes. They are bad for business and worse for consumers. They are disrupting supply chains. They bring uncertainty for the economy. Jobs are at stake.
In Kuwait's released a group of American prisoners, including veterans and military contractors, jailed for years on drug charges. This is AP News. Seth Sutel now with the AP Markets Report.
Stocks closed mostly higher on Wall Street after getting some relief from an encouraging update on inflation, but jitters over President Donald Trump's trade war still knocked the market around. The S&P 500 climbed 0.5% Wednesday after skidding up and down throughout much of the day. The Dow Jones Industrial Average also bounced between gains and losses. The Dow wound up down 82 points. That's about 0.2%. The Nasdaq Composite added 1.2%. AI stocks led the gains. NVIDIA tacked on 6.4%. Companies targeted by tariffs announced by Europe and other countries weighed on the market. Harley-Davidson sank 5.7%. Whiskey maker Brown-Forman lost 5.1%. Seth Sutel, New York.
That inflation report was from the Labor Department. Its consumer price index for February showed prices 2.8% higher than a year ago. That's a slowdown from January. I'm Ben Thomas, AP News. Thank you for listening.
Marianas. It is Thursday morning, 8:40. You're all caught up with everything now. Holy cow. You got the history, you got the news, you got everything. Just that quick. And you're up there and you've been seeing these RFPs going on. There's a couple left. One of them's going to expire tomorrow. Ooh, two of them are expiring tomorrow. And that's going to be interesting for sure. But anyway, great to see all you guys back again. And we were having a pretty good conversation just a little bit ago about the governor, about the approach, the tourism, who's doing what, who needs to do more, and all that stuff. I guess we really can, though, agree on a couple of things. And one of them is that we look better as a Commonwealth when we work together. Like after the typhoons, it's the best thing ever because everybody's on the same page. Nobody cares about that politics stuff. Once in a while, you get people who are like, look at me. But outside of that, everyone works together. They put all that stuff aside and say, you know, all that stuff that we have been arguing about is BS. Let's get down to business, you know? And it's great. And when it comes to these politics, hot buttons, like what's going on right now with the Gov and our Washington rep, that we we look better when we're on the same page. I think we look foolish when we're not. And the other thing is, the folks that we're dealing with in D.C. are wondering, well, who the heck am I supposed to believe? Or who the heck am I supposed to trust? Or because they're all about tribalism over there, which tribe am I supposed to be down with? Who am I supposed to be siding with that remote territory that we don't really know very well? What's it called again? Spain? They don't know where. I mean, granted, there are some folks who are a little more polished than that and know us, and at least they might be able to talk around it a little bit too. But the thing is that we are just a small little nugget for them while they're dealing with all the big stuff. It is way better if we are all on the same page, so that at least when we come across to these folks in the mainland, they know who they're dealing with, all of us, right? It is. It's a big issue, and it's a minefield of big issues. Talking about all these different things and trying to navigate it, and navigate the personalities and all that other stuff. It's all fun for sure. All right, so there's something first of all, so you've got our email address, brad.rizal@nminewsservice.com. And I didn't know about it, but somebody sent me a heads up. Hey, I got this in my spam folder. You should check your spam folder. So I got this thing in my spam folder. Yeah, hold on. This is definitely spam. And I'm going to delete that forever. This one, though, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm not going to mention names or anything, but I'm going to give you guys the gist of this email that I got. Oh, hold on one second. Oh, I'm missing a whole lot in the comments. 1 second. Going through, I'm kind of catching it midstream here. Says, this is James DeGlon. He said, I'm sure she has the best interest in the sea in mind. Are you saying that none of this will happen without the Congresswoman's support? Sounds like you're positioning her as one to blame if things don't materialize. He's like, not at all. These and other items move quicker if they have the support of as many people as possible. Got it. It's called Taipei. I didn't know that part. Oh, yeah, it's called Taipei. Yeah, I know. That's about the Saipan part. Yeah, what's it called again? Yeah, it's called Taipei. I've had that conversation with folks. They don't even know where we're at. All right, so anyway, I think I'm kind of caught up. Yeah, I bet you had stuff go to Spain instead. I've had stuff go everywhere. So if we look at this email that I received, and I'm not sharing it yet. I got to talk to a couple of people to verify a couple of things. But it was a real good email, and somebody wrote something like in the form of like a press release about somebody who owned a boat that was the boat that was carrying a whole bunch of Chinese folks who are trying to head to Guam. And I mean, the format of it's good. It says, but again, when it comes from somebody, it's not verified and all this other stuff, like I can't do it. But I looked at it and I got a whole lot of good info from it of where the boat was found. And this is some good stuff, but I can't exactly do this till I can verify some of this stuff too. So whoever sent it to me, thank you. I got all these photos of all these folks. This is all great. And then some paperwork stuff, but I got to reach out and talk to a couple of the people who are mentioned in here to find out if that's the real deal. And curious, this picture where they got all these folks in Guam with their customs and immigration paperwork, where this office is, where all these folks are, because I'm looking, is this over at Ritidian? Because I see like they've got all the habitat photos and everything too. It looks like a HPO in Guam with all these folks, and it says a possible entrance of the vessel and drop-off point at Ritidian, and the foot trails located by an officer, and it includes the vessel registration. Excuse me. But I got to reach out to these folks and find out, hey, now I'm not going to get a good answer from an anonymous email, right? But at least I could verify with some folks, hopefully. And I'll be able to tell you if it was like on the record or off the record. Like I can't tell you who said it or anything, but I got this verified. Or I'll be able to say, according to so-and-so, I got this verified. Just depends on what they're allowed to tell us. And if they're able to verify it. And if that is something, then we'll talk about it. I appreciate getting it. I don't know if this will, I imagine, like anyone who received this, like a responsible journalist who received this would have to do their own digging. That's it. Like, I can't imagine this would make it in the newspaper. I can't imagine this would make it with like Tomas or something. Like, because again, all this stuff has to be vetted. Like, again, it's a full-on thing. That's why I'm not even reading it out loud to you guys. But it's juicy. If it's true. Oh, why are you just teasing us? Well, because this is the thing I can't just tell you until I can verify that it's true. Because, also, just because, first of all, just having all these things sent in the body of the same email doesn't mean that that was also, they were all really together, right? I can tell you there's an interesting conversation going on in the comment section. I'm going to have to catch up on a lot of that later, but it looks like, I love that you guys are having that conversation. I love that you guys are having that conversation and going back and forth. Because that's it. Like, this becomes like that sounding board. That opportunity for you to have that conversation. Granted. Oh, yeah. Tobot says, worst place to drop people off is Ritidian, surrounded by the military, fish and wildlife officers, and hunters. Yeah, so I think that might be the fish and wildlife office down there. But Ritidian's military, they're all up on top of the cliff, right? They're not down there on the bottom, are they? Okay. Oh, that's going to be a good email. I can't wait to read that email, and I can't do it now. Oh, man. It's all right. I'll continue to share what I can with you guys when I can with you guys. But I'll tell you what, it's an interesting day for sure. Let's talk about this other thing. I want to see if this was a letter or if this was a... This is just old news that's in the paper today. How about this one? No, that's not really interesting. This is interesting. Hold on. It's interesting and not surprising. So the governor has his legal counsel is Brendan Lade. He was previously legal counsel for the House of, for the legislature, and he was assigned mostly to the House of Representatives. And he ended up filing a declaration in bankruptcy court saying that the highest bidder for IPI is really closely related to IPI. How about that? So apparently, they're going to have a hearing in about 2 weeks to consider the approval of this and making sure that they're free and clear of all liens and all that other stuff. But I want to see, where do they talk about how they are close? And I don't know if I'll be able to get this, but I'm going to see if I can't get it, because this looks really good. Because, I felt like there was, like, anybody who's going to be involved in this, it would be like one of those just close the business, open up a new business, name change thing. Now, this would be a little bit more in-depth than this, but according to the documents, it says, I have obtained the filings that both bidders in the auction have close ties to IPI and its principals. None of these relationships were disclosed in the bid proposal submitted as part of the auction process. Woo. The parent company, IPIH, is incorporated in Bermuda and was publicly traded on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange until it was delisted in June 17th of 24. It is now in liquidation proceedings in Hong Kong. IPI is a member-managed limited liability company incorporated in the CNMI and was organized by a single member, Best Sunshine, a company incorporated in the British Virgin Islands and wholly owned by IPIH. Best Sunshine was administratively dissolved in April of 23 because its registered agent in the British Virgin Islands had resigned. All right, so we're going to come back to this story. I have to send a few messages to a few folks because I want to talk about this heavily, but so especially this part. This is about the bidder who didn't win, though. I'm more related to the new guy, Team King. Team King is a LLC that was organized January of 25. Wow. Okay, so let's talk about its connections to all these other guys. Okay, I'm still looking for the connection here. All right, I got to message somebody. I'm going to get these documents today, and then we're going to talk about this tomorrow because that's some juicy stuff. If that's the case, I'm not surprised by it, but I think it's really good. I mean, it's really good info. Like, it's really juicy info. If that ends up being the case, that both of these companies that were bidding for IPI were both related somehow to IPI. I mean, that's a big thing about the paper, too, or about this whole thing. It's just a whole bunch of crap. Once we get rid of them, we're going to be way better off. But, like, IPI's connection with these bidders is a story that's happening right now. That there's people who are owed a lot of money from IPI who are against this sale as well because they're not going to get that money that they're owed. And that's a lot of money that's owed. What else is going on? The casino commissioners not in favor of the attorney generals saying, hey, we can't pay for you guys. we can't, we're not going to pay you guys with public funds. So that's going to be an ongoing thing, but that's not new either. Why is IPI so much, why is this IPI so much into CNMI? Oh man, I'll tell you what. So that's, by the way, these two topics of China, Chinese tourism, Chinese influence, and the IPI, that's why they're all intertwined. Because that's the whole gist of this. If you take it in a vacuum, who wouldn't want to just have tourists from a certain country come and visit your country? It wouldn't be a big deal. But that's the thing with IPI. They're like, oh, IPI wasn't connected to the CCP. Oh, really? Well, okay. But there's no denying at all that IPI had a massive amount of influence here in the CNMI. I gotta sneeze. Excuse me. So you can't deny, in that fact, there's nothing to sneeze. It's not something to sneeze at. I know. But IPI had a lot of influence here, and they paid a lot of people for a lot of things. They overpaid for a lot of things to wield influence. And we're still suffering from the impact that IPI had on our islands. And we're still suffering from the impact that the Chinese market had on our islands. And I know that sounds terrible to some people who are really pushing for the Chinese tourism, but take a look at it. Like, people are starting to finally be able to afford houses again. People are finally starting to be able to afford rental properties again, because they were so artificially inflated, because the Chinese investors were using land leases and property leases as a way to launder money. And that meant, because all of a sudden it's clean. When you say that you got all this money in your account because you sold a property or you sold your leasehold on something, then all of a sudden it's clean money, if you will, right? And that happened, and that's why the real estate values went so high, because they were overpaying for places, and because they knew that when they would sell it, they would get all that money back even higher. So that's one of the things that ended up happening all over the CNMI, and that's why houses were so expensive. Houses that were like $500 became $1,500 a month if you were to rent. So it was massive. Now, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of great economic investment. The CNMI in some places looks so much better because of all that investment too. But there's a price that we ended up paying, and that was one of them. Hold on, I'm scrolling all the way down. Properties now are underinflated because everyone is leaving, though. Yeah, well, I mean, it's balancing out. It's swinging the other direction, right? It's going to come back eventually, but right now it's just not there. But I think it's healthy. It's actually a benefit to folks who actually stay here and live here. One second. And thank you. I just saw your comment, Louisa. You don't want to lose a stronghold under these stable buyouts. Yeah, there's so many comments. I can't even keep up with you guys right now. So I'm gonna have to come back to all those. But the main thing is that the property values are starting to recover. And you know who made a killing off of it? I would imagine our realtors. Our local realtors are not big fans of, I'm sure, the housing prices going down, because you don't get as much commission on your sale, or you're putting them together. That's why it's hard for me. Like, they're a good resource, but man, I would love to think of them as just being like great matchmakers, putting people together who could really use the relationship. But I think that they're definitely big fans of keeping the property values high. I mean, it makes sense for them. But that's why when you ask about, like, why is it so much in the CNMI and all that, because it's the ongoing thing. I mean, like, it hasn't, we haven't gotten through all of it yet. We're still working on it. Oh, jeez. Tobot, you're the man, dude. You're just the man. Hold on, let me just check something real quick, Tobot. This is for you, dude. Yeah, because this thing got canceled today. Ooh. Yes. In 20 minutes. Oh no! I totally meant to message somebody. All right, guys, look, sometimes the woe man. Yes, darn it, hold on. Oh my gosh, we got so into this stuff. Let me message this guy, see if I can still get him. 1 second. I hope the answer I get is yes. Hopefully I get a yes on this one. And I got a phone call I got to make in 20 minutes. So we're definitely going to be gone in 20 minutes. But I want to see if I can get this guy on the show real quick. Who? No way. Oh my gosh. By the way, different story while I'm waiting for a reply on this one is the NFL. It's the deadline, the new league year. Whew. Okay, 1 second. Oh, man. All right. Sorry. All right. Well, so that was for Landon Eidlet in Guam. And we were trying to, he was going to be on the show today. But when we got rolling, we just kept going. And I'm like, oh, man, can we get you now? Hold on, let's do this tomorrow, question mark. So we'll get him going tomorrow. Man, we missed him the other day. We missed him today. It's been a wild week for us. I think that's pretty fair to say. But anyway, we'll get him tomorrow. And actually, one of the reasons why we love Landon is because all the stuff that he does in the community, right? Outside of that, he's not just a weather guy. He is out there in the community doing stuff for folks. And he's just a superstar. And for Guam, he'd be great over here too. But right now, he just sent me a message that of his score sheet because he is judging a science fair project, like for STEM fair stuff. So that is great. So I understand, and hopefully we'll get him in there tomorrow. And I look forward to, I got a couple of messages from some folks about helping out with a couple of things, and I'm looking forward to that. Eileen, we're going to message you back in just a little bit. I do want to talk about this, though. I didn't mention it, but I want to do it now. Hold on, let me go to the share screen so you guys can see this. All right, let's go to main event. Get that on the screen. We received a request from someone out there who's got an event going on, and we'll call it, this is for Rotaract. And these are folks who do a lot of volunteer stuff on their own in the community. So just give me a quick second. I want to show this to you and promote this a little bit for them. And that'll give me a good little segue to tell you about a couple other things too. I'm gonna move myself over. There we go. All right, so this is it. It's the Rotaract Rumble Gaming Tournament. It's happening on Saturday, March 22nd. So not this weekend, but the following weekend. It's gonna be at Marv's Kitchen. I didn't know about Marv's Kitchen, but it's the second floor of Saipan Vegas. I didn't know they had a second floor. So there you go. I've only been in there when I was getting coffee at Winchell's. So I'm not, I went in, did I go in there when it opened? I feel like I might have. I don't remember because it was a while ago. But anyway, $10, you can get into the Rotaract Rumble Gaming Tournament. It's $10. It's free to go watch. The doors open at 4. You can register right there. The games are going to be Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Tekken. Is that 3? Is that 8? How many Tekkens are there right now? Hold on, let me zoom in on this. Tekken 8, it looks like. Wow, nice. All right, well, that's going to be cool. So I haven't played Super Smash Bros. And Tekken. Man, I lost track of how many times. I think it sounds like it's going to be fun. And for $10, it sounds awesome. So we're announcing it now for you. Thanks. We'll be happy to, it'd be cool to check it out. I'm going to post it on the page too, so that they can get some run on it. The guys from Rotaract, I know it's a one of those public service organizations, and they do stuff to try to help out in the community. So definitely want to help them. And that's it. So it is the Rotaract Rumble Gaming Tournament, Volume 1. It's next Saturday, March 22nd, on the second floor of Saipan Vegas in Marv's Kitchen. And they're going to be having a couple different games, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Tekken 8. It costs you $10. You can go there just to watch. And doors open at 4 o'clock. And Rotaract, it's part of the Rotary Club. I think it's just like the younger folks. I get Falcon Punch. That sounds great. Oh, wait, what's that? I saw something about birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Conrad Castro. Happy birthday. Is that any relation to Tobot Castro? But anyway, happy birthday. Oh, Turn Dynasty Casino Saipan. We still, yeah, that's the Rotaract. I believe that's like if you want to call it like a Manhoven, but like not little kids. It's like the young adults of Rotary. I think that's what Rotaract is. Like the 20-somethings and stuff. So that's great. And so it's going to be over there at Saipan Vegas in Marv's Kitchen. Have you guys been to Marv's Kitchen? I have not been to Marv's Kitchen. I didn't know it existed till now. And then I want to know what are they serving up at Marv's Kitchen? All right. Well, I've got a bunch of messages to catch up with. I got one. Someone wants to chat me up. They've got busy stuff today. So it's going to be a busy one for us. I want to say thank you to you guys for watching the show. I want to thank you for supporting the show. You know, I am a big fan of you because we couldn't do it without you. We've got this on the screen right now. I know we have our sponsors, and they do a great job for taking care of us. But if you want to support this kind of conversation, if you want to support an independent press, this is how you could do it. You can see us on there. We got our little QR code and to the old PayPal account. Not looking for a new kidney or anything like that. There's nothing like that. It's just that, hey, you want to help keep the lights on and do all that kind of stuff. You know, chip in. We might end up trying to do like one of those, subscription things or something like that, like a Patreon or something. But I am not there yet. I haven't gotten into that world. And the other one is we're looking at. I'm really excited about the website that these guys are building for us to give us a little extra run. Here's another thing. If you are in a government agency and you're running RFPs, you can run them with us. And if you are looking to run an ad for your business, if you're doing a hiring for your business, all that kind of stuff, it could be your school, it could be your organization, you can run your ads with us and we will give you a ridiculous, amazing price for the amount of exposure that you're going to get. We guarantee that you're going to get more doing this stuff than anywhere else, and we're happy to do that for you. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here, and I want to say thanks for tuning in. Before we go, we're going to get you guys the latest from the Associated Press, because there's been a new headline that came out, or a new update since we've been hanging out, and that's going to be our show today. So thanks so much for being here. Here is the latest from the Associated Press. Thanks for tuning in with us today, guys.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. President Trump's trade war is going global. Sakar Magani has details.
President Trump has boosted tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports to 25%, openly challenging U.S. allies. The president's moves are part of a bigger effort to both disrupt and transform global commerce.
The United States of America is going to take back a lot of what was stolen from it by other countries.
He's also planning reciprocal tariffs next month on Brazil, South Korea, and the European Union, which announced its own countermeasures aimed partly at goods like beef and wood products from Republican states.
The countermeasures we take today are strong, but proportionate.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen says the trade war is regrettable.
Tariffs are taxes. They are bad for business and worse for consumers.
Canada's blasting the tariffs on what finance chief Dominic LeBlanc calls its iconic steel and aluminum industries and says it will boost import taxes on everything from U.S. computers to sporting goods.
We will use every tool at our disposal to defend Canadian jobs and Canadian businesses and support workers.
Sagar Magani, Washington.
That fed another volatile trading day on Wall Street, but encouraging inflation data soothed matters a bit. The S&P and the Nasdaq closing with gains. The Dow a small loss. February's consumer price index was up 2.8% from a year earlier. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin's calling it the most consequential day of deregulation in American history, rolling back rules on pollution from coal-fired power plants, climate change, and electric vehicles. He says it will eliminate trillions of dollars in regulatory costs and hidden taxes on families. And U.S. arms deliveries to Ukraine have resumed after Kyiv signaled it was open to a 30-day ceasefire with Russia. This is AP News. Ed Donahue has election results from Greenland.
The center-right Democratic Party is the upset winner in parliamentary elections. Democratic and the second-place finisher Nalaraq are in favor of Greenland's independence from Denmark, but Democratic favors a slower pace. Added to the mix, President Trump's push for Greenland to join the U.S. Sheila Geisler Christensen wants independence.
I gotta vote for those who back us up in Greenland as Inuit, and we don't want to be Americans. Like, I don't want to be American, nor Danish. I'm Inuit.
Kuno Fenker with the Nalaraq Party says President Trump respects Greenland's right to self-determination.
He wants to invest in Greenland. He's absolutely welcome to do that.
Democratic Party leader Jens Fredrik Nielsen says Greenland needs to stand together in a time of great interest from outside. I'm Ed Donahue.
And I'm Ben Thomas, AP News. Thanks for listening.
Good morning, Marianas. So many things we gotta discuss. Happy day, Tirawamian greetings. To Rhoda, Guam, Saipan, and Tinian. For all your island news. From a beautiful place with Pacific views. It's always so much fun. Good morning, Marianas.